The classic, a beach episode, pool episode, whatever they want to call it. Possibly, will it occur? Can I make like I know it's not even that crazy of a prediction, but like, my God, it rains every episode in the show. There's no way it doesn't get rained out, right? Right? there's no way, and it doesn't just get rained out, and we can't do anything for sure. I feel like that's gonna happen. I might be wrong entirely, and we'll end up seeing if that occurs. Saki working through her problems continuously here. I feel like that's every episode now, but she's working through them. She's able to open up and finally accept that she does want to do this, and we should hopefully have some plans. And if things like that don't turn out well, maybe they can make something else and they can at least spend some time together. That's all we can really hope for. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, like and subscribe to Monster Me for free too. Stick around for the discussion, leave comments for this episode series. Let's get going with episode 9. It doesn't seem real. That's fair. Admission. Oh shit. And how much more on par they almost are with each other. Things I need to do and accomplish. For the fact that he was there in that moment to kind of assure you that, but all the stuff afterwards meant so much more as a result. and then look what happens. Yeah. At least I got that going for me. Aw. Grasping at straws. You declined it because you needed to be independent. Just wanted to spend time with you and do something for you. The tapes. Yeah. Oh, wake up. Oh shit, that looks awesome. Aww. Why are we playing the ED music now? Okay, it did work out. Naturally, looking towards the things that you wish you could be or wish you could have, and placing that almost on somebody else who does have it. liking those things within them. Oh wow, what an interesting way to do a montage for this, right? Instead of like overly like focused and sexual shots and weird shit, let's just make it like this. I think works perfect and in line with the show entirely. I feel that way too much on a personal level. At least you'd like to think possibly you are. Great lighting. I also like everything about the previous scene and now like everything within this almost feeling like it's slightly out of focus until you get like that one shot of her that's like really shining and like very clear. Seeing her finally recognizing a way that you might see the person completely differently. That's a lot more of a jump than I thought we were about to get there. Okay. Just think about, I know I'd always be serious, but I'm just thinking about how like weird it must be for him now to go back on the bus and be like, oh, I like my sister. In the times you least expect. Seeing them is too different. I hope we don't go down a route where Maya's interested. I gotta be honest. And we keep her in the role that she's kind of in. Classic. Interruption. Fireworks too loud to hear the things you want to say. Or to actually say the things you want to say. I love his little like caught off guard moments where it's like, please stop, like please don't keep doing this. Like she does it. Prove me wrong. Huh. That's like shit. I'm sorry, that's hilarious to me. In the exact moment he starts recognizing her, possibly thinking of her in a slightly different way. She... Right, exactly. Exactly. That's why it's hilarious to me. Something that they've been so against for so long. Right, you can't possibly break that trust, right? Right, you can't possibly do that now. Oh, that's great. And now we flip it completely because her being all messed up in the head is going to be a little bit more normal. He's going to be fucked up for the next couple episodes. I can't go back to being normal. No. Right, you gotta get it through. Can't possibly think there's something else. Awful communication. I don't think so. It's nearly fold. Let's do some family stuff. Oh, we gotta work. Never mind. Oh, maybe we can. Let's go! This is what I've been wanting. Of course. That's most people's goal. Even when you think you can be a little more free and you kind of loosen up a little bit, she now recognizes and realizes so many other things that she has to protect and work towards upholding. I was gonna wonder what the key is. What is that lock? The only two things are the tapes, which aren't even hers, so I don't understand why. And then her diary. Alright, Dad, settle down. Yeah, but you pushed her. I mean, you spent days on end trying to convince her. Hits him again. Oh, I thought you already did. I thought that's where the pool was. Is it the thing we saw at the beginning? The hippo? Oh my god. Oh, the stew. It looks great, by the way. It looks great. I'm personally a fan of shorter hair in general, so it looks great. Of course you have. So we can't leave any traces of that. We can't leave any traces of that. The hair's so interesting. Because it signifies so many things.
あくまで妹。義妹として接する生活だ。この義妹生活にもう日記はいらない。
That episode was awesome. I am sorry. We talked about it a lot at the beginning in the early episodes where I was gonna try and uphold a certain tone almost with myself, and not go maybe too overboard with like certain reactions towards stuff that have happened due to the actual mood of the show, not being something that really allows for that at a lot of moments. But like even the things that were supposed to be serious on the characters' ends here were just hilarious to me. Like everything timing wise was so perfect and just so like funny to me that it occurred, and I couldn't hold it in. So I'm sorry. I thought it was hilarious, very unintentionally, but I felt it was. We take huge strides here going forward, with a few things that happen, all basically coming down to what goes down and what occurs during the scene with the fireworks. And yeah, it's an interesting one. It really is. I mean, the moment each of them basically come to a realization, well, she's kind of had this realization, but the moment he officially comes to this and he can put it into words in his own head and he's about to like possibly say something about it, she just pulls it out from under him and it creates a gap and a distance between the two of them, which then spends him in an absolute loop as she starts a new journey essentially within her life, and turns the page here, indicating directly through her cutting of hair and a bunch of other stuff. It's really hilarious to me. It's just you can't get any more like on point than that. And the timing is so good, and it's so like real, right? It's so real. How many times has that happened like within your own life, or you've seen it happen to like other people, or at least heard about it too? The moment you start showing any signs of interest in someone, they start showing that pushback. And even sometimes you don't get to show that interest. So sometimes you don't have that opportunity. Sometimes it just like you're gonna get there and you're gonna try and put it into words or try and like make that known. But the moment like you do have it in your head, you start realizing a shift in the other person's for some reason. It's crazy how timing is everything and so many different things. And he missed it by a split second. How much would change? And the realization she has afterwards, would I have been able to like reject him or like continue like create this distance between us if he came out and said anything? Imagine you get that done 5 seconds before the fireworks go off. We have a different story entirely. So it's hilarious how, how that whole thing just kind of comes about. I'd rather talk about a handful of this stuff while going through the episode. So we're going to do that. Her recognition almost here entirely of the way that he ends up seeing her, or at least the way that she thinks that she sees him. Am I saying that the right way? I think so. I think that makes sense. We'll go with that. Yeah, at least she views him in a certain light that maybe he isn't, which he is up to what we've been able to see, but maybe other people don't see him that way, and she's clouded by whatever emotions and stuff she's kind of going through, so she thinks that's the case when it really isn't. And then she starts fully displaying everything, her own feelings, her insecurities, everything that she has. Multiple times we've seen these are diary sequences, of course, so that's not going to change at all, but we do get to see the continued evolution and how her feelings are continued to like well up so much more over time, and how much harder it's getting for her, especially like you get into these moments, your insecurities about Shiori. We talk about the hair, which becomes relevant, of course, later on, the potential feelings and stuff that he would have towards her. And we take so many things here. Once again, the mom, oh yeah, I didn't think that we could do this, and she wasn't able to see me happy or be able to get any of this stuff, and all of that stuff can come full circle by the end. Here, he was actually able to allow her to go, and she was able to experience something that she really enjoys and have fun, and the mom gets to be happy as a result of that. Oh, you want to take a day off, something that we felt that we couldn't do before, and we would feel terrible for, but instead we'll take those days off, and we'll be the one who does it, even though the mom ended up taking it off here, but we can do it, and we can create this moment or this time where we can actually spend some time and be together a lot more. So, like, everything kind of comes back around, which I think is really awesome. It's also hilarious how she looks identical to her mom, so now that we're going with the shorter hair, we literally have like a full representation of what she would look like as she gets older, which is great. Through memories, through the tapes, through the different things that she's kind of kept locked away or have been held important to her in some sort of way, through her own taking a step back and breathing and just trusting this other person and kind of relaxing for a slight bit, comes to the realization it might be okay for me to go. You know, maybe we should end up doing this. This place looks so sick. That looks so cool. Look at those big ass hippos. She gets a little something, the little time that she's able to spend with her mom, the memories that she almost has of here, favorite place, and a place that she would love to return to and kind of want to go. I love the sequence entirely here of just having her utilize what her experience was throughout the day and the way that she kind of feels and the things that she's kind of come to over it, and allowing that to be our montage that we almost get here, as opposed to trying to make it like a over the top certain like sexual like frame type of thing. We keep it in the diary sort of sequence. We keep it like in the mental space almost for what it is. We keep everything having like a certain sort of like grain and filter almost to it here, to make it feel a little bit different. Everything's not full like quality, a little bit out of focus almost entirely. It's really interesting, and she gets to experience and realize so much about him, the thing that she actually really likes, you know, the way that she feels towards Asumaru throughout this entire thing, which I think is really cool. And it's something I relate to heavy, right? The feeling that she ends up getting to see of him kind of putting others ahead of himself, putting that feeling of making sure that others are in a good space, or people are enjoying themselves or having a good time, and wanting to do whatever you can to kind of help them out, which is a thing that I've struggled with plenty of times, and especially as of recently gotten a little better with maybe not focusing as much on that. But that I find myself in a situation like that often, where it's like I don't get so much caught up in the moment of what I'm doing. Instead, I spend a lot more time focusing, are the people I'm with enjoying this as well, and can I do anything to kind of allow them to enjoy it maybe more than they already are, or just make sure that I can have like no worries about that, because I feel like if everybody else is having fun, I'll have fun, which isn't always the case, because you spend so much extra time stressed and worried about, will these other people enjoy the thing, or are they having fun doing whatever they're doing, then you just kind of don't get to live in the moment as much and don't get to enjoy it as much on your own. And it's really sad. It really does get to be, and that's something I've been trying to work on a lot, especially as of recent, because it just, you feel like you miss out on so many things when you come to that, right? And then also, as she ends up putting it here, I wonder if anybody notices that about him, or if it's just her. Is that a special thing and a connection that almost the two of them have, where she's able to observe and see that and nobody else kind of can? Is he even aware that he's actually doing that? And these are the same kind of thoughts that maybe I end up having, where I'm aware that I end up doing that now. I wasn't in the past, but I still have those thoughts, like, do other people see that I'm maybe making that effort trying to do that, or do they not, and I'm just making that effort on my own end and nobody really notices? But I'm not really looking for them to actually like notice and see it, but it's just one of those, like, am I subtly doing it enough to allow them to not notice what's going on, or are they able to like kind of pick up on it? And then how does that make them feel in that situation? Like, right, do they pay no attention to it? Do they get then concerned that maybe I'm not enjoying myself in the situation that we're in? And I'm not trying to like make them feel that way, right? I don't want them to like look at it and be like, okay, now I gotta like not live in the moment as much and allow this, like, do something to allow this other person to be freed up a little bit and enjoy themselves. But it is more of just like I wonder if it is noticeable to somebody else on the outside or not. And that's something that happens a lot, where you're stuck on the inside of something. And that's what happens with a lot of times in relationships and stuff, especially when people are in like toxic ones, where they don't realize all the negatives and stuff that they're in, because they're actually in the situation, where the people on the outside can actually see these things from like a mile away and give you warnings. But then you're like, you don't actually know what you're talking about, because you're not there for all that. So like, shut the fuck up and stay away from me, like stay out of my life. And it's like, well, okay. And then in a couple months, everything crashes and burns, and they're like, I should have listened to you. And it's like, well, we tried to warn you. You know, you're too far in. It's a little hard to see things from like a unbiased perspective almost, which ends up happening way too often. Anyways, love the way that the entire scene of this was framed, and her thinking that he's so cool for a lot of the different things that he does, and having this little thing of it. We get different moments like this, like where I was saying about clarity and stuff. Like, this is Claire, of course, but until we get that one scene here where it's the lighting is just entirely different. She's fucking sparkle and everything's hitting, the sun's directly on her, basically, right? Like, this is different. This is like a level of like, I'm seeing something for the first time that I've never been able to see, or I'm seeing this person in a different light entirely. This is different. This is special, right? And that's why he then realizes and comes to extremely quick his own feelings, and he's like, oh fuck, dude. Everything comes to him at once, all these other moments and memories, and he's like, I've never really thought of her that way. And then now everything just sparkles and shines so much more and is so much happier until he can come to this conclusion. And it's that simple. It's these 3 simple words. That's all he needs to be like, fuck. Like, it took 1 look and 3 words and he's there. And now it's like, I don't even know how to feel about these things in general, but also like, I'm supposed to be related to this person. Like, how the fuck do I feel? Everything's just all over the place. And now it's like a complete, he's on her page of where she's been stressing. What the fuck was I about to say? Stressing this entire time and not knowing how to handle things, right? She's my sister, but also she's Ayase. So like, they're 2 different people, but at the same time, they're not. But like, what is that relationship? And is there a distance there? Can I close that? Is it weird if I do that? Should we distance? Like, where do we go from here? And at a complete loss, not knowing how you should really frame this in any sort of way, until we end up getting to this moment where he's like, bug it, it's time, we have to go out of our way and do it. And look what interrupts us. A classic. Usually they interrupt us and it's too loud and we can't hear each other. We're not close enough that ends up happening, but we are in a situation where that kills the mood almost entirely, and it disrupts what he's about to say to the point that what she says then spins everything completely out of control. Thinking that there's a possibility something else might come out of it until we get, where is the awful line? Where's the fucking line? Unbelievable. Poor guy. And it's funny too, because now it's like she just ventures into a new chapter in life, essentially, right? She tries to put it past her here. That's what she tries to do. She creates that distance, she puts up that wall. She puts a label on something and forces him to then think of things entirely different from maybe where he's at mentally. And he just shifts into her role that she essentially was in. It's so bad. It's like, I feel so bad. This is for the better. I'm gonna continue staying on that hill where he needs to be with Shiori, and that's the only one, because I don't want to go the whole route that they're trying to push, right? Like, I don't want to go that way. So I'm not angry at all if they continue down this entirely. But yeah, he's completely thrown out of control here. Has no clue what to do. What am I supposed to do now? I have these feelings. Where do I go when I get home? Well, she's been dealing with that for how fucking long, buddy? So strap in, because you're not alone in this. If he did that though, would I still be able to hold up this feeling, put up my guard the way that I am right now? I don't know. I'd probably fall apart. Taking the day off, wow, you actually get that moment. We come back from the beginning where she felt too bad about people taking days off and them not being able to spend time and do these things together. Okay, what if why take the day off? The mom ended up doing it regardless, but we get to spend our time together and we finally have a full day where we are capable of doing something like that. But now the problem is she then doesn't shift entirely from like, before it was, let me just focus and worry so much on being independent on my own and not bothering anybody. She's still there, but the problem is she just wants other people to be happy on the outside with maybe not having to worry about her. So it's kind of the same, but a little different. So it's like, it's a little weird. She doesn't want to cause trouble for absolutely anybody. And of course, the things that she would have said, or the way that she would have felt if she had held on to her diary this entire time, right, would have caused plenty of issues. So we don't want to cause any more trouble for that. As she goes a little forward, she takes that key, then she gets ready to throw it away, where she ends up locking away. Now, the problem is they show symbolism towards the end of her actually throwing, like, the key turning into the diary as it's being thrown away, but it feels almost as if the diary is still locked away and she actually just threw the key away. So she still has it, even though she hasn't gotten rid of it. So I'm a little confused entirely by that. Because it's not like there's no like return and it's gone completely. I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading it though. Maybe it was, the key was just more like metaphorical in some sort of way and just representative of it. But at that point, to show the diary, I guess, entirely, I don't really know. But the key is just the thing that's technically locking it away. So if we throw away that, it means a lot more, or it symbolizes a lot more, as opposed to I don't know. Look at this. We all get to be home. Oh, thank you for actually going out of your way and doing this thing. I know that that's what you would have wanted to. I know she wouldn't have gone and you had to drag her along, but it does make it happy. I'll say the word again that he doesn't want to fucking hear. Oh yeah, the thing that she really likes, by the way, which I thought was gonna be like a mixture of things, but like possibly so many different things, and it was none of what I was expecting. But it is the stew from what we talked about before, or she brought note to that she really liked in one of the flashbacks that we had an episode or two ago. And she comes home, and Buddy doesn't know what the fuck to do with himself as he ends up seeing this. Symbolic of so many different things, right? The natural thing that's kind of put on people where you try out something new. A lot of girls typically, you try out the new hairstyle, you dye your hair, you do something, especially when you're trying to get over a breakup, when you're trying to move past something, when you're trying to start a new journey, a new chapter in life, essentially symbolizing that she's ready to move on from that. Another one, we're getting back to our roots, essentially, right? We are returning back to what he sees within the picture, something that she was before. She's willing to openly accept and love the things that she once has before, and maybe return back to who she was at one point before she started putting so many extra like thoughts and stress on her own self to become independent, right? We can get back to we enjoy ourselves when we go to the pool and do all these things. We can get back to the person who wants to sit there and enjoy the meal that our mom ends up making. We can get back to that person who wants to go adventure and see the hippos and everything, right? Like we can get back to that, and she can be a bit more freed up and relax as a person. And we're also back to something where she almost releases the insecurities entirely that she has, right? Holding on to the fact that she has long hair, the similarities that she has with somebody like Shiori, right? But now it's short. So if he does end up liking her in the long run, it's going to be for her. It's not going to be directly because of what he takes an interest in. And even maybe it isn't, maybe he does take an interest and prefer the style so much more, but then it does relieve something else where there wasn't an interest in her and it had nothing to do with that or whatever. And you were putting your own feelings and thoughts when it came to the hair and comparing yourself in certain ways that actually aren't there. So it's a release of so many different things for her, which is really excellent. I mean, that's typically how this stuff kind of works, and it's a good thing, but is it always? Because some people just do it and strike a pose almost. Is she actually meaning the things that she's doing, right? Like, is there actual I'm putting my foot down and moving forward and turning the page entirely here in the action that she put here by chopping half of it off? I don't actually know. This entire last week and everything going forward will be stuck in my head forever. I will not allow that to come out. That will not be written down anywhere else. It exists entirely within my mind and for who I am. We get this. We embrace the old version of ourselves as it disappears. I thought I went like this when it happened. I don't think you can see my hands. I went like this, like as if I was assuming that it was going to happen where they like merged and morphed into one. So like I was assuming that as she walked forward, we would have gotten the long hair version and it would have been this version of her when she was younger, and they would have did that, and then it would have morphed her into the version that she is now with the cut hair and everything. But this works too, where she's like almost embracing and accepting that part of her that she tried to push away from so long until she can actually become one essentially with it. And she ends up moving forward. See, it's this, it's let's throw this away. And then actually this version of it comes out instead. So I don't know, maybe I'm stupid when it comes to that, but I will live my life like this instead and not what it was. I don't need this diary to hold these feelings any longer. Kind of crazy, but a little hilarious to me at moments, but it works so well. And I'm so thrilled to get a little bit more and seeing how they plan to go a little bit forward. We don't have like a lot set up. Like we're not looking forward to a lot right now. So I'm assuming all of that comes forward in the last 3 episodes, which will probably be like a full volume in itself. This is probably wrap up of volume 3, I guess would be my guess. Maybe 4. I think the first episode was like nice, like group of 3. So this is probably the 3rd volume. So we're probably going to do 4 full volumes would be my assumption of this adaptation. We'll see though. Hopefully you guys did enjoy though. If you liked it all, like and subscribe to the Mountain, feel free to check out the videos and channel. Leave a comment for this specific series. I'll be back for episode 10 very soon. Have a great one. Peace.